Okay, we are back for DRM, Digital Rights Management. Like I say, this kind of piggybacks right into the last module we did on intellectual property, piracy, fair use. Okay, let's get into this. So when we think about this, let's, like we talked before, kind of segue from where we were, the intellectual property, excuse me, dilemma. Here's the issue: the proliferation of personal computing technology and the endless amount of content that's on the internet. Now, it makes it just a target-rich environment for unauthorized distribution and dissemination of creative works and intellectual property. Take a look at this. It also prompted the deployment of a lot of DRM technologies, digital rights management, that the goal was to inhibit the unauthorized use of digital content. So this was things like having chips on DVDs and in VCRs and those things like that, so that you were not able to see that media unless you had the rights to do that. So like I said, it was a growing industry for how to control digital media. So when we think about these technologies, and again, talk about things like server-side authentication, excuse me, that offered a limited use of your CD keys and things like that. Sony came out with secure ROM technology for video games, so you just couldn't pirate those, make copies of them and give them to someone else. Apple, they had the Fair Play system on their iPods and iTunes, so that you had to download music from their website, so it made it more difficult to have piracy in that environment. Now, like I said, a lot of people thought that, this is just a waste of money, no benefits for legitimate consumers. Here's why. Because most of your pirates, people who are pirating videos and music, they're going to break through the DRM anyway, and then illegally redistribute the music. Because you got high-tech people who are building this stuff, and on the other side, you have high techies out there that's able to crack whatever technology. If one man builds it, another man can crack it. So that's been the dilemma, the issue with digital rights management. So, question for you. What prevents a person from going to Kinko's? I think Kinko's is probably going out of business now, but go to any of these stores and making a copy of a hard copy book they bought. Is it copyright laws? No, it's not. It's the cost, effort, and the quality of the copy. Yes, you could have gone to Barnes & Noble, another company may have gone out of business, I don't know, but Amazon, and ordered a hard copy, a hard copy, hardback book. You bought that book, and you could bring that book home, and you could sit there, all 482 pages, and copy front back every one of those pages. And no one's going to say a word. But you're probably not going to do that. Why? Again, because of the cost associated, the effort, time and effort, and the quality of the copy. Now you got a whole bunch of stacks of paper. However, that same book in a digital format now can easily be copied and distributed at little to no cost at the exact same quality as the original. That's the dilemma that technology has created with respect to intellectual property. Yeah. You can download somebody's song, their likeness, whatever, right into a digital format and redistribute that, resell it if you need to. We've all seen the pirated copies of, pay-per-view. Somebody goes out and buys pay-per-view, then someone sits there with their camera and records it, a boxing match, whatever. And then they redistribute that, or they have other ways of recording that and redistribute that off pay-per-view. So that's what's kind of the dilemma. So, DRM is not an implementation of copyright laws. It was really a way to protect digital works. When we think about that was the whole purpose of DRM. Now, one of the big ones, and this was a few years ago, I think around 2000, 2001, 2002 time frame. Okay, Napster. If you remember Napster, like I said, that was a peer-to-peer music sharing company. So they had this called Music Share software that allowed peer-to-peer sharing of MP3 songs across the internet, meaning that if I had an MP3 song, I could share it with you and you could share it with them, share. Two individuals or two bands were very instrumental in a lawsuit. Metallica and Dr. Dre, yeah. So they filed a lawsuit against Napster's practice when they became aware that their music was being distributed royalty-free across the internet. So here are, they have put their creative works out there, and this is how they make a living, and now people are distributing it freely. So yeah. So in 2000, Napster was sued for contributory and vicarious copyright infringement under the U.S. Digital Millennium Copyright Act, based on the claims that its users were directly infringing on the plaintiff's copyrights. This was one that was big because it did it. Excuse me. It kind of changed the trajectory of peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer isn't, nearly as popular now as it used to be. Because, like I say, now, does that mean that it's still not there? Oh, trust me, there's still a lot of stuff being passed back and forth, peer-to-peer. It'll never go away. Never go away. But at the business level, these large companies now, they have backed away from that somewhat. Okay. So, like I said, we covered quite a few things in this course. We talked about ethics, morals, the law associated with that, the relationship between those three. We got into computer crimes. What does a computer crime consist of? Is it based? It could be based on who it impacts. It could be based on the intent or use of the computer. We looked into privacy and some of the laws and acts associated with keeping our information private. The same with intellectual property and the digital rights management, ways of technological ways of ensuring that our digital information isn't distributed, without someone's knowing that. So we covered a lot of things. We're going to come back. We've got another blog module that we're going to cover, cybersecurity, and kind of touch on some of these things. Probably maybe a little more, but hope to see you back for that module.